So if you're trying to get in a better shape, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're trying to tone up, if you're trying to burn fat, I am a firm believer in tracking what you do, because the things that get tracked can get managed and they can get changed if needed. And if you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to get into better shape, there's probably a lot of things that you're doing that need to be changed, that you need to do less of. And there's probably a lot of things that you're not doing that you need to do more of. So today, I had one of my clients who had a birthday party for her grandson, and a 1 day birthday party turned into be a 3 day event. And it completely threw my client off to where she tried to keep up with her exercise, but wasn't as successful as she would like to have been. She tried to keep tracking her food, but wasn't as successful as she would like to have been. And because of that, and because she was eating things that she knew she shouldn't eat, like most people, what we just say is screw it. I'm not going to track, out of sight, out of mind. And what I told her was that I said through those moments, it's important to keep tracking because we need to be able to identify what we're doing when we're looking at our result. And she said to me at towards the end of our call, she said to me, what you said, it really resonated, because she said years ago she had lost a bunch of weight, and then she had put a bunch of the weight back on. And she said throughout that time, she knew she was doing the wrong things, but she was ignoring the scale. She wasn't weighing herself. She wasn't tracking anything. And she said all of a sudden one day she decided to weigh herself, and all of that weight had come back plus some. And she said, how did this happen? And ignorance is not bliss. Like ignorance, we never, and I said to her, I said, it happened through avoidance. It wasn't that it wasn't happening. You were just, not really paying attention to it, not really concerning yourself with it. And it was happening in the background. And eventually you're going to end up weighing yourself again. Eventually you're either going to choose to weigh yourself again, or you're going to have to weigh yourself, go to the doctor or whatever. And then you're going to be surprised at the numbers that you see, when all the while you were doing all of the things that would eventually lead you to those unwanted numbers. So I said, these are the reasons why you have to keep tracking. This is why I say we can't rely on motivation, but we have to rely on discipline. We have to rely on the routine of doing the right things, whether we want to or not. You cannot allow your feelings to dictate what you do, because oftentimes your feelings will lead you to believe that it's okay to not eat right. It's okay to not track. It's okay to not weigh. And those things, that those things, if they led you to getting good results, not doing those things will oftentimes lead you to getting the wrong results. So this is why I say it's important, regardless of what you're doing, whether you're doing the right things or not, still continue to track, because tracking puts it right in your face. There's no avoidance. You can't avoid it when it's right in your face. And it will oftentimes allow you to switch gears, switch directions, be like, okay, I've had clients that will track things and then they'll be like, wow, I didn't realize there was that many calories in this. I had a client today send me a message, and he was like, he didn't realize that there was so much sugar in fruit. And he said he thought because fruit was healthy and it had all these vitamins and minerals in it, it was a quote unquote safe food. And this is the things that you learn when you track. So no matter what you're doing, if you're doing good and you're tracking, you should be tracking if you're doing bad. I tell my clients, I'm not going to tell you you can't eat something. I'll give you guidelines. I'll tell you the shoulds and the shouldn'ts, but I'm not going to tell you you can't eat anything, because I don't really believe that within the right quantities there's any quote unquote bad foods. However, if you're going to eat it, and I always tell all my clients, if it has calories in it and you chew it or you drink it, you got to track it, because it does matter. And the little bit here, the little bit there, the little bit here, the little bit there that we don't really think matters, after you do that a few times, it really does matter. So that's what I told my client: track everything, even when you don't want to. Yes, it's difficult to track when you know you're doing bad, but you know you're doing it. And I had another client today that she said the complete opposite. She said that I tracked anyway. I had pizza, I did this, and I tracked anyway because it went in my mouth. So it matters, and it does matter. So that's what I told my client. Make sure you're tracking. And I'm going to tell you the same thing. Make sure you're tracking regardless of what you're doing, whether you're doing good or you're doing bad. Because if you put it in your mouth, it matters. It all counts. So let me know what you think down below in the comments about that. Do you track? And if you do track, do you think it helps? If you don't track, why? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you need help on your fitness journey, here's what I want you to do. I want you to fill out the form below in the comments, and not in the comments, in the description below, the first link. Click that link, fill out the form. I can't even talk now. Click that link, fill out the form, and you and I together will figure out what we need to do to get you from where you're at to where you want to be.